Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony. I hope that you've all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Starting off your New Year right and just enjoying it so far. So hopefully you all have a blessed 2023. But let's jump into AMD's 7900 XTX and XT issues. There's been reports of high junction temperatures, and then when they requested an RMA, AMD denied it. Now they've gone back and they have said, hey, we will now honor those RMAs, but this just needs to be fixed at AMD, whatever it is. First off, whose idea was it that you're going to have come in and somebody's going to say, yeah, we have bad temperatures? And then your first response is, you know what, we shouldn't look at that because there could be a problem here and we don't want to know about it, right? The first thing should be, people that are honoring the RMA is like, you know what, I don't know if you're not going to just accept the RMA. Your first response should be, these are hot temps. Let's go talk to somebody. I think somebody's going to want to look at this. Let me get back to you. Name, number, email address, whatever it needs to be to get back to that person, because I'm pretty sure that you want to be able to get that hardware in-house so you can start testing it and find out for yourself. I don't know why AMD wasn't doing that. So there's failure, number one, there of why something fell through. Whoever's making this decision needs to have decision privileges revoked. They cannot be making decisions anymore. Um, that's not something you want as a company, to have your customers have a bad, faulty product. You want to have that in-house. You want to make sure that they have the best possible experience, and that starts with inside AMD. Now AMD can go to and blame another company. However, the buck stops with them. And good job in the community for bringing this out to get them to change their mind, and people complaining, because otherwise AMD would be, trying to have people have faulty cards out there, and that's not good. Now, this seems to be with the reference models so far. So there is that, and if it's the reference models, then AMD needs to address this and say, anybody having a problem with the reference models, we will take a look at it ASAP. And if it is um, in the AIB partners models, then AIBs need to be addressing this as well. Now, there are reports. I was looking at DeBauer, Igor's Labs, some Reddit posts, everything ranging from faulty vapor chamber, which is a physical thing, which means you're going to have to figure out what went wrong with that. It's manufacturing, so who knows what went wrong, right? And there's something there that needs to be addressed. And then if it is, swapping out cables like some of these Reddit posts are, DisplayPort, you got to figure out why that is. That seems like, certain firmware and drivers and stuff that AMD needs to get right, and they didn't. And I'm sure that they tested this at some level, but like with anything, there's so many varieties out there. You don't know what variety is going to break something, so you need to be taking that all in and replicating it as fast as possible, right? When people have this fresh in their minds, you need to get on top of that and get this out. And AMD's failure to that is just unacceptable in how they handled this. At some point, Lisa is going to have to address the elephant in the room, as in why is Radeon Technology Group having so many issues. Either she is not involved enough where she needs to be, or she has the wrong people in the wrong areas in the Radeon Technologies Group. And that needs to be addressed. I think marketing, one, needs to be cleaned up. Scott Herkelman is, I don't think he's built for the job right now with where AMD is at. And his marketing department has not been doing a good job at all. You've seen him on stage here lately, and he's willing. If he wants to talk to me, I'm more than willing to reach out to me, Scott, and we can have a conversation. But your decisions based upon, going after NVIDIA with a power connector, and you not making sure that your stuff was rock solid, reeks of just stupidity. I don't know how else to put it. It's bad, right? These are things that you should never be doing when you can't get your own house in order and right. And remember, marketing is going to have some say in all this other stuff. um, you know, their persona out there is probably kind of how they got the RMA thing to begin with, right? And saying, oh yeah, we're good, we don't need to worry about this, this is the way it's supposed to act. No. And your arrogance there is destroying the Radeon brand, and it's his fault. So I think if Scott's going to still be there, he cannot be making decisions or final walkthroughs based upon his past history of how he and his team, how they do things. I think that you have to bring somebody else in. Maybe, you know, Lisa, you have to have somebody that you trust to be able to go through with a fine tooth comb. And, you know, there is, you leak stuff out there. You can easily leak out a presentation. So people like me, everybody else on YouTube can tell you how bad it is before you do it. Um, I just don't get where Scott's coming from on a lot of his marketing stuff, and it's really sad to see that the marketing department for AMD has not gone anywhere, no matter who they put in charge. So either it's people that have been there for a while that still are making decisions and shouldn't be, or something like that. Now, you have, I mean, at some point, Lisa is going to have to get a hold of this group because otherwise it will be a drag on the rest of the company. You know, AMD's AM5, you know, socket and their new processors, they were, you know, not launched out in all greatness this last launch, but it seems like AMD's kind of correcting the ship on there, and it seems like Radeon Technology Group just can't get out of its own way. So you got to bring in somebody else or take ideas and take decision making away from certain people so you can get that, because this is ridiculous. I don't, you guys probably have comments too and thoughts. Put it in the comments below, and if they ever run across this video, they can hopefully start correcting themselves and getting better. Because man, I don't know, like, who comes up with half these ideas? They're bad. So, and then the driver side, you know, I've had problems with NVIDIA, AMD, heck, a lot of drivers throughout my history. But um, what I want to say with the 7900 is, why is your performance all over the board so off, and why is your boosting not right? Why does it seem like your just different DisplayPort cables are doing different things? What were you doing throughout this cycle of software development? I don't know all the chains, but as a software developer myself, you know, I have just a billion questions going on in my head of why is it just falling apart? I don't get, like, you should have been able to start figuring this out, putting in your quality standards, putting in your testing standards, making sure that good code's getting committed and that you're putting your teams in your right areas so that you are um, progressing the software, the drivers, or whatever else it is in the right direction. And are you dropping the ball in those areas? It's really kind of interesting, right? You hear reports of, yep, everyone's hands on deck over this, you know, Christmas break and stuff because of all the issues you had. Why didn't you know about these issues beforehand, right? Why all of a sudden is it all hands on deck? I'm starting to think that the reason why they didn't do performance numbers against any other card is because they knew that they had drivers issues in the marketing department, and the marketing department didn't want to get involved in it and just let the users find out. Instead, this should have been in there, and then there should have been questions brought up to upper management of why this is, and things should have been fixed. Heck, they should have been fixed beforehand, and they should have been having explanations for this. Instead, they just let the ball keep on going down until there was a presentation, and then afterwards, after everyone did their independent testing, then you're going to have the issues, and people are trying to figure out what's going on. I get that there's a time and a place that you have to kind of, okay, we got to fix stuff up, but at the same time, there's some breakdowns here, and people in Radeon Technology Group are not capable of seeing those and addressing those at this point. And there needs to be people in there that can communicate that to upper management of AMD so that it stops. And if there isn't, um, you have a problem inside Radeon Technology Group. It looks like the hardware design team knows what they're doing. They can design a card. Seems like a pretty good card, the 7900 XTX overall, and design wise. Maybe there's things that need to be refined and everything else, but then all of a sudden you get to the drivers, you get to marketing, and you get to all this other stuff, and they just seem to keep screwing it up. And when you have a design team that's working their butt off and you can't get anything else right, like I design software and write software, and when you can't, and it would just be so frustrating to me if marketing department screwed up something I developed, right? It would be just devastating, and nobody knew how to get it out there and everything else. And that's what's happening to the design team and even the manufacturing side, right? Maybe they have a defect in the vapor chamber, but they that silicon is all designed, developed, and manufactured, and for some reason they're just having problems. So AMD, get your stuff in order. This is very disappointing. Granted, I'll give you that you finally are honoring the RMAs, but get it right. And if you can't get it right, get somebody in there. If your current people cannot get it right, get somebody in there that's willing to give some guidance, right? You need an outside mind to run something by you, or to run your ideas by, because it's getting ridiculous, right? In this Radeon Technology Group, you have something there. At least I mean, you're gonna have to figure something out, but hopefully, maybe somebody down in the comments below has some ideas. It is not AMD should not be feeling good about themselves in the Radeon Technology Group. They're um, at some point they're probably gonna have a 7800, 7700, 7600, and I think that you're gonna have to really have good launches of that, and have good marketing and everything else if you expect to start repairing your image, which is going to take years, because no one can trust you on your performance anymore. Um, you were under promising and over delivering. 7900 ruined all that because it was opposite. So let me know what your thoughts are. We'll get into this. CES is coming. Looks like there's some OLED monitors that I'm interested in. Everything else, we have the NVIDIA going to, and by the way, if I'm NVIDIA, take that 4070 Ti or whatever you're calling that 4080 12 gig, charge $800 for it. I charge 900. NVIDIA, and I would like it to be a lot cheaper. Now, let me get that straight right now. If you've made it this far, I think it should be a lot cheaper. One, you've seen how much I pay for graphics cards lately. I don't like paying very much. But if I'm NVIDIA with how AMD screwed this up, I'm charging 900. I don't care. What is AMD gonna do? They have a problem on their hands and they screwed it up. So I have the ability now to price it a lot higher because AMD's got all this negative press. If I charge 800, yeah, people are going to be upset, but they still buy my cards, so who cares? If that's what I would be doing if I was NVIDIA. Like, that's how to think. It's getting ridiculous. AMD did not help themselves at all. So I don't know. Graphics cards getting expensive, and that's why I bought a used one. I don't know. So oh, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Maybe you can give me some humor of maybe one day I'll get a cheaper graphics card that beats out something brand new, or I'll just keep buying used. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking the time to help support Grow Everyone, help this channel grow. I really appreciate it. Until next time, God bless, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.